Welcome to You Are Not Alone. This is a safe place to explore all things spiritual and beyond. I am spiritual medium Erica Gabriel. Hello, friends, and welcome back to my podcast, You Are Not Alone. I'm your host, Erica Gabriel. How is everyone? I am beyond excited to be with you today. I really, really am. I'm so excited to do this show. It is an episode of something, obviously, that I'm aware of, but it has been made incredibly, it has made its appearance and been incredibly available and prominent in the last couple of weeks. So this is a different kind of podcast. It's very interesting. A lot of what I do is extremely grounded, as is this, but it's also kind of mind-bending ideas. So you can bend as big or as small as you want. But I'm excited to talk about this. So what we're talking about today is portals. Our portals? What we're talking about today is our portals. Are. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. I need to go back to school. Do you guys ever think about that? Like, if you took like the end of the year first grade test, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, like what grade would you get up to without needing to study? You know what I mean? Of course, we could all get through it, but like, what would I ace before I would have to be like, oh, I need to study for this? Like, I think I would ace, well, I don't know, because my daughter's in fifth grade and she's doing like advanced math and I can't do it. So I'm really screwed. Okay. So, what we're talking about today are portals. Portals. What is a portal? It's so interesting, right? But this has come up so much. It's so prominent in readings right now. It's so present in conversations that I'm having with my guides right now. Um, so here's what I think of when I think of portals. There's a couple things, a couple angles to look at this. So let me just kind of lay it all out and then we can pull it all together to make more sense. So, first and foremost, I think, people ask me things like, are demons real? Are angels real? Um, is, or are past, are past lives real? Are, really a lot of questions about what is real and what is not. And so here's for the purposes of this episode, what I want you to think about. I want you to think about, like, when you get balloons, helium balloons, um, and you get a big, big kind of bouquet of helium balloons and you let them go inside and they all are kind of resting on the ceiling and there's strings and strings and strings and strings coming down. I like to think of the world and an answer to those questions as the world having helium balloons with tons of strings coming down. And the strings are infinite. And anything you can think of has a string. So, like, could a string to demons happen? I mean, sure. If you want to pull that string, right? Our mind can create anything. So if you want to focus on, say, demons and you want to yank that string down, the balloon is going to be full of those ideas and that those fears and those ideas and that kind of imagination and all of that energy that people have put into this idea of demons. So is it real? I mean, yes, because we've created that balloon. Do you feel me? Are you with me? If you pull, this balloon of past lives, there is so much validation and information and knowledge and memories and in that balloon. If you want to pull that string, you want to pull that thread, you're going to get it. That's how powerful we are. What we focus on will become available to us. Now, does it mean that if you think, scary thoughts, that it's going to become your reality? Of course not. You can, you're in charge. You can always say, like, wow, I did think about that. I want to let those thoughts go. You know what I mean? Like you're in total control. Don't be afraid. But the idea is that you can create a pathway to anything that you want. And this is the idea of portals, opening up space to go through a portal towards anything you want to portal to. Okay. So that's why I like balloons. Let's just like start with the balloons and then we can move to the idea of portals. You know what I mean? Because just starting with portals, like there's portals everywhere. You're like, what does that mean? Am I going to fall into one? You know what I mean? No, but you can open and close portals. Okay. So for an example, like this is like basically the philosophy of inner child work. You can open a portal to your past self and walk through the portal and go to your past self and say, I see and hear that you're in pain, but I'm going to take care of you and you're going to be okay. And because you're talking to your past self as an inner child, that past self is going to start to heal, therefore affecting your present self, right? That is a portal. When people say do inner child work, that is a portal to your past self. When people say go back and think about things that people did to you that hurt you so that you can forgive them, that is a portal to a time and space and moment that you can go to and do work there and then leave and go back to where you are. Does that make sense? They're just portals. Now, the reason why this can be mind bending is because you think about, are we in a portal right now? Did we actually time jumps? That's like a timeline jump and go to a portal in a completely different time and space. Is reincarnation portal jumping? I mean, we can really get into this portal energy. It makes me think of the movie Doctor Strange. You know, so many people have not seen the movie Doctor Strange. Have you guys? It is such a cool movie. My husband and I watched and went through in order the entire Marvel universe with our kids. It was just a fun thing we were doing. We started as we watched them as they were released in chronological order, not actual dates. So like if one was released in, I don't know, 2013, we started there and then 14. So we took, a couple months and watched them all in order. And one of the Marvel movies is a movie called Doctor Strange. It's not one of the more popular ones, but it's about this guy and he has this intense spiritual experience and basically becomes the keeper of time. And my husband and I always laugh. We're like, this one is so out there and it's literally the most realistic one of all the Marvel movies. We crack up. Anyway, watch Doctor Strange. You guys might like that. But he basically like waves his hand in the air in a circle and it's almost like when you cut glass, like that circle kind of falls out and he can create a portal to any time and space. It's really, really cool. And in some ways, we can do that. Now, can we actually jump through a portal to France 1492? No, because in on Earth and where we are right now, we have chosen to come to this time and place. You know what I mean? Um, I've never come across anyone or gotten any information that people can do that. I guess they could. I guess we have time jumpers. I haven't met one yet. Um, I know we can timeline jump, but I'm talking about people that are like quantum leaping through different times. I haven't met one yet, so we can talk about that. Go listen to my my podcast on timelines, and I'm not trying to be confusing at all. I'm really not. But we can bend and look at different things from all different angles. We could talk about timelines and portals for the next year, right? So there's a lot here. But the reason why I really wanted to talk about portals today, and I just wanted to give you a little backstory about it, but the reason why I really wanted to talk about it is because in readings, there have been some things that are coming up for people that don't actually suit them anymore, meaning they've outgrown it, meaning they've outgrown certain ways of thinking, certain things, ways of believing in themselves. They've outgrown certain jobs, certain places, certain people, certain things. They've outgrown that. And it becomes imperative in these readings that they must not take those things with them to 2026. And so in the readings, my guides have said, there is a quote portal open to 2025 still. You must leave the things you don't want to move forward with in 2025. And then in my mind, they kind of showed me that Doctor Strange circle, and they showed me that there is still a portal open to 2025. And we basically need to think of things that we don't want to take with us and chuck it in that portal that's sucking, still in, not sucking, but, pulling uh, energy from 2025 still. And we need to kind of throw in that hole of 2025. Not that it was bad, but portals look like holes to me. Throw those things in 2025. And then the portal will close and we have shed those things. 2025, year of the snake. 2026, year of the horse. Horses run fast. It is very hard for a horse to run if it is weighted down by bricks. I mean, technically it's not because they're so strong, but you feel me, right? Like just work with me on that one. But it's hard for the horse to run if it's too weighted down. So if you want to move forward, we've got to chuck in the metaphoric portal hole in the world, in our world, we have to throw in things that we don't want to bring with us into 2026. Then I saw something online and I'm going to look it up again. I'm going to ChatGPT. Hold on. So, when is the year of the snake over in 2025? Because I was in the impression that when the clock struck midnight on January 1st, that the 2026 year of the snake is over. But it's the Chinese calendar. So here's what's crazy about that coming up in readings is that the 2025 cycle ends on February 16th. This episode of this podcast is coming out on January 27th. So at this time, you have 2.5 more weeks of the 2025 year of the snake portal. You must shed whatever you don't want anymore. Throw it into 2025 and release it. Offer it up like a beautiful offering to 2025. 2025, this is what I offer to you. And I want you to write these things down. Write down, what do you want to offer up to 2025? It's something you have. It's not like I want to offer up this shitty person. I guess you could offer up detaching from someone. I mean, it wouldn't be like you want them gone. It would be like you want you want to offer up the lack of strength to leave this person, maybe, right? Does that make sense? But you want to offer something that you have that you are ready to release. That's the idea. And then that portal will close on the 16th. So we are still right in there. We have enough time to look at what we want to let go of so we can move forward in 2026. So there's a portal right there, 2025 portal still open. Allow it to take from you what you no longer want, but you have to be clear and be specific. Be specific. Okay. So that's what that portal is all about. That's what's been such a hot topic on the table during readings. And the idea is that you can go in and think about portals that you want to work with as well. It doesn't have to be the 2025 portal, right? You can use the portal, like I said, to go back and examine things from your past. So you can go in, get yourself to a place where you're grounded, where your mind is quiet, when you're breathing, when you're not in chaos, and close your eyes and imagine that time. Imagine that place. Imagine what's happening. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? Go back through the portal to that time and be the person you needed during that time. Apologize to the person you need to at that time, right? Do what serves you and really gives purpose to going through that portal. Okay? Now, I have to legally say, and also for my own, just as Erica, if you are looking at things and you feel distressed and you need support, go to a counselor. Okay, let me just say that because this is work. Anytime we do any kind of spiritual or emotional work, you should always have support. And you guys know that. I mean, I say that in the beginning of every episode, right? So the other idea for portals as well is if you are on, a certain path and the path doesn't feel right or good, you can start to dream up and imagine what another stepping into another portal looks like, creating what that looks like. It's very similar to timelines. It's very similar to train jumping. We've talked about train jumping so much, right? Changing your route, changing your path. This is another way to look at it. So you can apply them anywhere. But the powerful one, the big one right now is that 2025 portal. So I loved that. I love that that came up. It's very interesting. And now I want to pull some cards for you guys, right? I know this is a, podcast that's early on in 2026. There's a lot going on. So let me tell you also, because I promised to tell you guys this about 2026. So as I said, it's the year of the horse. It's moving very quickly. Notice the news moving very fast. Things are really propelling ahead. Countries that have been suppressed for decades are uprising, moving quickly in that direction. Lots of things in the news is very intense. Things are changing, things are shifting, things are moving quickly. And you're going to see it in your life. So make sure that you lay out for yourself what you want to pull you. If there are invisible reins, like on a horse, pulling you forward, what is pulling you? Are your fears pulling you? Are your fears pulling you forward? Are your hopes and dreams pulling you forward? Are your visions pulling you forward? What is pulling you forward? Something really to think about. I also see manifestations really just coming into play here big time in 2026. Okay. So let me tell you about this manifestation. Two people that I really want to connect with, work with, interview, become best friends with. No, I'm just kidding. Two people. One, Michael Beckwith, and two, James Van Praagh. And I've been really thinking about those two people for a long time. I think my visions have been very vague. I've just kind of created a space for a connection there. So I have to work with my guides on being specific and what that looks like. So, but I've manifested connecting with them. I have written James Van Praagh countless times. I know someone that knows James Van Praagh. I've asked him to even forward an email for me. And he is just like, no, but he says, oh, yeah, and doesn't do it. I've asked for like 5 years. And he's like, no, totally fine. Respect that. Everyone has their reasons, right? Totally fine. But it just, I don't know. I just don't know, y'all. It's just like, it's not happening. And that's okay. That's fine. It will. So I do a radio show for the past now it's 3 years on New Year's Eve. So last year I was on from 3 a.m. Eastern to 4 a.m. Eastern, answering call in questions, talking about spirit, talking about the year ahead. The year before that, God, what did I do? I forget what time. It was like 1 AM to 2 AM. It was, oh, yeah, I think it was 1 AM to 2 AM. So it's basically on this show for hours and hours, and they have people come on, and it's a super popular radio show. Millions of people listen to it all over Mexico, Canada, and the US. And they've asked me now 3 years in a row. I've done it. And this year they asked me to do the 1 AM. Wait, let me make sure I'm not saying. Yes, it's called Coast to Coast AM, by the way. Yes, January 1st at 1 AM. So go live at 1 AM and talk till 2 AM. So this is always a really funny thing because I don't even like stay up to watch the ball drop. Like at like 11, I'm like, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And like my husband and I go to bed. Like we don't, it's not like a big holiday for us. Anyway, so this year, when I've done it at 3 AM, I'm like, great. I'm going to go to bed at 10, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 45. I'll have 4 hours and 45 minutes of sleep. I'll go live for an hour and then I'll go back to bed. You know what I mean? But this year it was 1 AM. So I'm like, I guess I'm staying up. Watch the ball drop. My kids stayed up. We had so much fun. Was with extended family. And then I'm like, okay, so it was like 12:01 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go to bed. I go down. I want to go to bed, but I can't. I'm very grateful for the gig, by the way. So anyway, so I'm like with my daughter in the bathroom and she wore like a little bit of mascara and stuff for New Year's and she's taking it off with a makeup wipe and we're just standing I'm standing with her and she's looking in the mirror and she goes, "You can't take your makeup off yet, my little soldier. You got to refresh it. You still got another few hours. You can't take yours off yet." And I thought that was so cute, little soldier. You just refresh that makeup and keep going, mommy. So it cracked me up. So then I see that I'm on from 1 AM to 2 AM, and James Van Prague is on from 2 AM to 3 AM, literally. Like, I'm the hour before James. So would you call that working together? Like, I honestly wanna know, is that us working together? No, we're not doing something collaboratively, but, like, we were on the same ticket. You know what I mean? It was like a medium before me or a psychic before me, and then James. And like that was like that segment of the show. So kind of, I don't know. Um, so I get on, it's all like via Zoom, whatever. I get on, I talk to the producer, we talk about what I'm gonna do, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I see you have James Van Prague on your show after me. We're doing the show together. Wink, wink. And he was just like, yeah. And I'm like, so after my segment, can I stay on the Zoom and say hi? Which is like very out of character for me. You know what I mean? Because like I feel so dorky being like, hey, I'm Erica. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, I wouldn't say it like that, but I felt like, am I like being a weird fan? But then I'm like, but I am the medium right before him. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm like someone's like, I don't know, like I am on the show, like we're on the same show. So I was like, yeah, so can I say hi to him? And he was like, sure. And I'm like, is that weird? Is that rude? And he goes, I'm the producer. He goes, I'm the executive producer of the show. I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I do my 1 to 2 AM. Producer comes on. Great job, Erica. Loved it. Love having you on. Great. And I'm like, so can I stay on? And he's like, yeah. So we're on a Zoom. And then I see James Van Prague entering or whatever. And he didn't have his camera on. And it just said James Van Prague. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. I feel like I have to go to the bathroom in my pants. I'm so excited. Sorry. Anyway, then the producer was like, James, you have to turn your camera on. He came on and he just popped in. He's like, hi. And he was like, hi, James. Like, so glad you could join us. It's been a little while. He's like, oh, this is Erica. Gabriel, a medium. And I was like, hi, James. I'm like, just want to say hi. I'm the medium just was on for an hour before you. Just want to say hi. I've been following you for 25 years. I love you so much. Like, thanks for all you do. He's like, oh, thanks, sweetheart. How are you, sweetheart? I'm like, great, like, have a great time on the show. Just had to say hi. He's like, oh, okay, sweetheart, thanks. And I was like, thank you, bye-bye. Okay. I felt like such a nerd, but at the same time, he was a doll, great energy. Um, so my question to you is, do I write him again? Hi, we met on New Year's Eve. I was the medium on before you. Come on my podcast, which I think I'll do. But that is like a 15 freaking year or whatever, how long I've been doing readings, 18 years. I mean, that's an epically long manifesting, such a long manifesting. And then boom, 1 hour into 2026, I'm on a freaking Zoom with James Van Prague as not as an equal. I mean, he's been doing this 30, 40 years, but as someone on the same ticket. That's what I believe 2026 to be, you guys. A wild ride. Portal anything you do not want back to 2025. Offer it to 2025. Focus on what you want to do in 2026. You will be pushed there rapidly. It's already happening. Don't portal yourself to Shitsville in 2026. Get your visions together, get your faith together, allow spirit into your life, focus, and the horse will take you there. This is going to be a wild ride, so make sure you're saddled up. You got your saddle on nice and tight because it's going to take you. A huge manifestation, and literally an hour into the new year, boom, here's James. Kind of crazy, huh? Portals. Obviously, we could talk about portals and I could go into various, way more concepts and corners and all that. But this is just a good, solid introduction to the ideas. You are in charge. You are incredibly powerful in your life. You are a powerful spiritual powerhouse. And the fact that you're listening to this podcast shows that you are into expansion, mental expansion, deeper understanding. It doesn't mean everything I say is the be all end all or the ultimate truth. Of course not. But it means that I'm sent here to say these things to continue to offer up some ideas that could possibly expand your mind and then expand the idea that you are an infinite, incredible being with infinite possibilities at your fingertips, and hoping that you continue to shine the incredible, beautiful light that you have within you, that you and God co created by putting there. You are a blessing to this world. You are a blessing to this world. You're a blessing to me. Thank you for listening to the show. Please leave me a rating or a comment on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you do your thing. Follow me at Spiritual Medium Erica, and you can email info@ericagabriel.com if you want a reading. God bless you guys. If you take nothing away from this, please remember, you are not alone. Take good care. I'll be thinking of you, and get ready for more to come in 2026.